Hi, this is Lorraine with Chat and Craft with Lorraine Tierney, and I want to show you today how to make a quilt card, or some people call them a puzzle card. So I thought I had this all adjusted properly. Let me see if I can get a little better into the frame here. What's going on? Okay. I'm going to move this way and see if that will help a little bit. Let me give that a chance to catch up. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Hampshire. I live in Warner, New Hampshire, and I love to make cards and I love to send cards. And I think card making is the best hobby because it's great to be creative and to play with paper and ink and make things, and things that don't take as long as a quilt to make. And then you get to share them with somebody else, and it makes them smile and it makes them happy too. And I feel like this card is a little bit out of focus. Let's see what happens when I bring it up here a little. See if you can read that. You make me happy a little better. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to make that card. I did make this in a Zoom class, and I have to admit that we had a little bit of difficulty with it. My instructions were not very good, so I'm going to try to do a little better with my instructions today. And hopefully people will have more success watching this and then being able to do it. So we're going to start with a card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4, and I've just given that a fold and a burnish with my bone folder. We need our paper trimmer, and the paper that we're going to start with, I'm using a piece of the Sweet Talk Valentine paper. And it has pretty Valentine prints on one side and then more basic versatile prints on the other side. So this piece of paper, I changed the dimension a little bit from the Zoom class, and I'll put this in the description after I post the video. This is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. Usually we do 5 by 3 3/4, but this is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm gonna cut this paper on the diagonal. So I'm putting a point in my paper cutter here and a point in my paper cutter here. And I'm gonna start in the middle so I don't mash that point with my cutter, and I'm gonna just cut that in half, and then I'm going to keep that together, and I'm going to rotate it and put the other points in my paper trimmer. Get that lined up. Put my blade in the middle again, and I'm going to cut those in half. Okay, so now I'm going to move my trimmer over a little bit, and I'm going to put this piece of paper down just the way we cut it, like this. And we are now going to cut these triangles in half. And we're going to put the long straight side up at the top and the point in the channel this time. And we'll cut it right in half. And I'm going to put it back in the same spot. Now this one, we're always going to put the side opposite the point at the top and cut it in half. And believe it or not, these all end up being the same size once you do that. And we put that back in place where we took it out. Then we take this one. And you can put it at the bottom if that's easier, but that's not in my camera. So the point goes in the channel and the long side goes across the top, and we're going to cut that one in half, and then it's going to go back in where I took it out. And now this one last one, point in the channel. If you tried to put the other points in the channel, you wouldn't have a straight side to go across the top. I just messed that up. So point in the channel and a long straight side across the top. And those go back in. So now you're going to think of these as rectangles instead of the original triangles that we cut apart. So you have 4 rectangles, okay? And we can do a whole bunch of patterns with these. I'm going to put them a little bit closer together, okay? So we can turn over these two, but you always have to switch places right and left when you turn them over. Okay, we can go like that and like this for a quilt block. All right, I'm going to put those back, and I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to show you the one that I like to do the most. And that one, I'm going to take the rectangle on the top left, and I'm going to move it to the right and do the same thing on the bottom. So now can you see I have like a diamond in the inside, and then I have 4 triangles around it. I really like that pattern. So again though, once I flip these over, I have to switch them to the other side. I'm going to flip this over, and if I flipped it over, I wouldn't be able to make it fit in here the way I want it. So I just turn it to the other side. So that's one pattern. Now I'm going to be finicky. I want the hearts in the middle. Okay, I don't want the other. I want the hearts in the middle. So I'm just going to move these so that my heart papers line up in the middle. There we go. And that's what I want to put on this card base. I like the hearts in the middle and the other papers around the other side. So you move your rectangles together. And now we're going to glue these onto here. Okay, you think of them, once you cut all your triangles, I think it's easier to think of them as making rectangles. So I'm going to start with my corners, and I'm going to use the liquid glue because it does give a little bit of wiggle room. You could put them in place with a removable adhesive at first, or even hold them in place with a washi tape until you get them exactly where you want them. I'm going to show you how to do one more of these after we put this one together, and I think it will make sense, especially if you think of it as rectangles once you get everything cut. The other thing that might help is playing with them on the card base too, because then you know what shape they need to be. So now this one goes here, and I'm leaving a little space in between my triangles. Trying to get it even. And I'm going to cover the center with a circle, so I won't worry quite as much if that lines up. But so far it's doing pretty well. I think this is the first Valentine I will have made. Okay, so that is my quilt pattern. Hi Mary, hi Tommy, hi Grace. I just saw comments. They had not been showing up for a while. Hello from New Zealand. It's nice to see you. All right, so now I'm going to use a sentiment from this Flowering Tulips stamp set. This is a stamp set that will be in the new catalog that starts on January 4th. I love the sentiments in this stamp set, and the tulips are beautiful too. But I'm going to do the Love You So Much stamp set, or stamp sentiment. I'm having trouble speaking on this one. All right, so this is just a circle that I've cut with my layering circle dies. It says Love You So Much. I love the mix of a script font and a script font and a printed font. And I'm not sure, maybe you can give me your opinion, if I should put that on black right there in the center, or if I should put it on Blushing Bride right there in the center. I think, well, I'm going to go with the black, I think we need a little contrast there, and the Blushing Bride just gets lost. Do we need a little ribbon behind that? We could put a little ribbon. I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave it plain for mailing. So I'm going to glue the circle to the scalloped circle. These are both from the layering circle dies, and I stamped that in real red. And then I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals in the center there. Let me put a few of these on. All right, so let me know if you think I should cut another one from scratch for you, start at the beginning with the cutting, or have my triangles already cut. I can do either option for you. Tell me if you want to see the whole thing cut again, or just once the triangles are cut. There we go. So, and then I would put my white piece inside, which I didn't cut yet, and maybe a Happy Valentine's Day start stamp or sentiment in the inside. So I really like that. So let's see, did anybody let me know? I'll show you the paper that we're going to use for the next one. This one used the Rainbows of Happiness paper, and this one used the Sweet Talk paper. And now, all right, so Shelly has said she'd like to start from scratch. I'm going to use a pack of paper called Abstract Beauty. And this paper comes in a different size. It's 4 by 6. And it has all different colors. They're very, very different what it has in it. I think I'll use this one. Okay, so when we start at the beginning, this piece of paper is going to be 3 3/4. by 5 1/4. So I would probably save these, and I could either put it, I don't have a piece of white for the inside of the card cut, but I could put it inside the card as a little decoration like that, or trim this piece and have it as a little decoration. So I wouldn't throw those out, and then you don't have any waste from your piece of paper. Okay, so this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to cut it from diagonal point to diagonal point. And I start in the center so I don't mash those points. And then keeping them together, I turn it to the other ones. And just take a minute to make sure you get those points lined up, and then cut those. Okay, and we take these off and put them on the paper in the correct orientation. Okay, and now I'm going to cut these triangles in half. The point on the channel and the long side across the top. I'll cut all 4 of these the same way. This one, see, if you tried the other point, you wouldn't get a straight piece across the top. And you make sure you put them back where you took them out. I'll just flip this one over. Okay, and it goes right there. And this is the last one. And then I can get my cutter out of the way. The other pattern that I showed the other night, but I mailed the card out already, so I can't show you right now, is a pinwheel pattern. So let me show you. I'm going to put this on a piece of navy. Let me show you how the pinwheel pattern works. Remember, we're going to think of these now as rectangles. We're not going to look at triangles anymore. We're going to think of them as rectangles. Okay, and you can see this has all the points are coming in the middle. So to make a pinwheel, that's how we would start. So I'm going to take out every other piece because I want to make a pinwheel. I want to have different colors. Okay, now when I turn these over, they're not going to fit where they came out of. So I'm just going to find where they would fit. Those two switched top and bottom, and this side switched top and bottom. So that would be a pinwheel card. Now, I'm not sure I like that pattern. I don't know if I'm crazy about a pinwheel. I was going to put this in the middle, and then a thanks on the top. What do you think? I don't know. Let's try another pattern and let's see. So just go back to all being on one side. So we can switch them over. Okay. And I think I'm going to flip over these right here. And so I'm switching them side to side. What was on the right is going on the left, and what's going on the left comes onto the right. And if you think about making triangles, I think that will make sense. You can even make an arrow, a chevron. I don't want to get too confusing, but you can make all different kinds of things. I think I'm going to keep this one like this rather than the other one. So you have to be sure, I forgot to say that you have to be sure you like the two sides of the paper together, since you're going to see both sides. So remember, you make your rectangles, and then when you turn them over, they have to switch right and left or top and bottom, depending which way you're flipping them. So now I'll glue these down. Once you play with it a little bit, I think it will be a little easier to understand. And somebody made the suggestion Tuesday night, if you get a pattern that you like, save that card, and then the next time you do it, you can just lay the pieces on top of the pattern the same way. Oh, I usually like to go around. I'm going to wait on that. Go around the outside first to put my paper down. Okay. Now let's see. And you want to make sure you have a little border. And again, the inside, it's okay if that center part doesn't line up exactly, because you're going to cover it with a die cut of some kind and a sentiment. Or at least that's where I like that better. Yeah, there are lots of options of how you can lay out this card once you do the cutting. Oh. And again, I'm using the liquid glue because I like that wiggle room, like you just saw that have, so that I can slide things around a little bit. I like when the two pieces, both sides of the paper have the same colors in it, so that you can do a layout like this. When the other side is totally different, it doesn't work quite so well. Okay. And then I have, this thanks is from, what's it from? The Amazing Silhouettes bundle. So it has this stamp set, and then it has the Amazing Thanks dies. And so there's a skinny thanks like this, and then there's a shadow thanks that comes with it. This isn't the right color, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like. The shadow thanks. And then there's You Are Amazing in both the skinny cut and the shadow cut. So I really like those dies, but I'm just going to use the thin one. And I probably should have cut it with the adhesive sheet on the back, and then I could just stick it on. But instead I'm going to try to do this and not make too much of a mess. Okay, try to get that right in. I'm going to use my grid paper to get this straight, and then try to get this pretty straight. Okay. And then again, I'll pop that up on some dimensionals. Those dies are great, Mary. I love those too. I think I'll be using those a lot. I have a grandson. I could tell him he's amazing all the time, as well as some awesome team members and family members and all kinds of accomplishments. That would be a great graduation card. Do not put it on upside down. Okay, and so now we'll put that right there. And I'm going to look real quick and see if I have any bling that's in that dark blue color. And I don't. So I'm going to try. These are the classic matte dots, and they come in white and the very vanilla, a gray and a black. Well, I'm going to take my Night of Navy blend, because that's a Night of Navy thing, the dark one, and I'm going to try to color it and see how dark I can get a few of these. I might have to do it more than once. But usually you can color the bling with the blends. I'm gonna give it a little chance to dry with my very sophisticated waving system. Okay, and then I don't want to lift them off with the putty end of the Take Your Pick tool. I'm looking for my other Take Your Pick tool because it has the putty knife end on it. Okay, here we go. Let's switch this. So I took off the stylus end of the Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to use the little spatula to just lift that up and put one there. And then maybe one, whoops, I flipped it over. One there. And maybe one off. No, I guess I'll keep them on here a little bit. And so I have some thanks. And now my bling is just the right color. I could put a couple of white ones if I wanted. Yeah, so on the white ones, since there's no ink on them and I'm not worried about messing that up, I can pick them up with the putty end. And I think I'll put them over here. 1, 2, 3. I'll just make that little sentiment panel stand out a little bit more. So there you go. So that's the quilt pattern cards. So you'll see a couple of different styles here. I did have a pinwheel one that on the post that says I was coming live today. I showed you a picture of one in a pinwheel, but like I said, I've mailed that card out already. And please send those cards out. That's the best part of making cards. So thank you for joining me today. I would love it if you would like this video or share this video, tag a friend if you think they would enjoy the video. And if I can help you make cards at home, I'd love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I can send you a catalog and I'd be happy to help you in any way that I can. Have a very happy new year and be safe. Thanks. Bye-bye.